Bit of decorum, please. Welcome, everybody, to episode 12 of 1,000 Little MS Things. My name is John Raftopoulos, and beside me is...
Claire. Hi.
And we have three special guests today. We have the three boys up from Melbourne. We have... Announce yourself.
James, now going by Jude.
Yes.
Scott.
And Charlie.
Excellent. Welcome, boys. So good to have you. It's hard to get everyone here with their schedules and work and university, and so we sort of took a little bit of an opportunity to bring them up here on a Saturday.
And Charlie's birthday too.
And Charlie, 20.
Thanks. Great occasion.
So he's out of the teens now, which is pretty awesome.
Yes, it is.
So I can do these introductions, what these guys are doing, so we don't have to ramble on about it later. Mm-hmm. So we have Charlie, who is in second year Melbourne University doing physics. We have Scott, who's in his final year of doing commerce at Melbourne. And we have James doing psychology in his second year. Mm-hmm. So they're all studying. They're all good boys most of the time.
Yes.
So, look, I just want to have a quick chat today about where, not where the journey started, but obviously, Dane, you were diagnosed back in 99 before the boys were born.
Yes.
So, James came onto the scene into the world in 01, and Scott in 03, and Charlie in 05. Mm-hmm. Now, the boys have only known you, and you've always had MS.
Their whole lives, yes.
So they were too little to not even bother talking about the first 5 years, I guess,
True.
Unless one of you has got a memory.
I remember one thing as it pertains to you and your medicine. I remember it was that like injection thing that you had to do. Yeah. I remember I came into yours and Dad's bathroom, and I remember watching you do it, and you had like bruises all along that side. I remember thinking, why are you doing this? What is it? And you said,
do you remember Mum injecting herself, James?
No, I can't lie.
Yeah, I remember it was like a blue. It looked like what a lighter looks like. It was blue and it had like an orange cap.
I don't really have any memories before 12. I think I'm bad. I think I was the worst person that can be brought on this.
But in fact, the medication then was much harsher, I guess, because there wasn't much choice. So I was on a drug called interferon, then, which did actually hurt and did give bruises every other day. So it wasn't much.
So when you guys were sort of, James, you were sort of 9, you were 8 or 7, 6. You were living in, where are they living? Where are they? Wandsworth?
Yeah, Battersea. Yeah.
Battersea. And who did you come and help you during the day? Dana was there.
Towards the end, we had so many nannies, but Dana was the one that stopped.
Stayed longer. We had Marianne for a long time too. Marianne was awesome. I mean, you used to call her Moyenne. Moyenne. I love that. It's so funny. But yeah, it was Marianne. And then there was that bunch of people. Then it was Dana.
So James being the oldest, what do you remember Mum's condition? You obviously remember Mum when she was bouncing around, probably a little bit fitter than she is now with her condition. Yeah. Probably use the wrong word then. But what are your memories of Mum sort of battling a bit with the disease in England?
I don't really remember much of anything back in the UK, but I do remember when we were in like Evans Road after immediately moving here.
Just tell everyone where that is. That's here.
Oh, in Kew. Sorry, I don't know what you're saying. That was in Kew. So that would have been like...
In Victoria.
Yeah, in Victoria. So 2014?
Yes.
Yeah, 2014. And I just remember, the main thing I remember is just like the car rides were difficult because you couldn't see the signs, so there had to be like a designated...
When you were still driving.
Oh, God, yeah.
It's like that scene in the Goofy movie where they're like, left or right, left or right.
I did drive things. I had 3 kids to go to school and everything, so I drove all the time. But in hindsight, it wasn't a clever thing to do because me and Scott had a journey once.
Yeah, we were coming back from rugby training.
At night. I've never driven at night.
I think... I don't know if these were 2 incidents that are similar or if these were one incident that just had 2 parts. But you tried to, and I love you, but I will put you on blast here. You tried to turn right into, you went right into the highway lane coming off the highway, and you came face to face with a car, and you had to back up. And then when you did get on the highway, you didn't merge, and so we were stuck on the shoulder of the highway, like right around a bend. And I remember you being like, I obviously didn't really understand driving. I just remember you being like, this is so dangerous, like we shouldn't be here, this is so dangerous, but you couldn't find the right time to merge. And I think I was a little bit used to it at that point.
Me crying in the car.
Yeah, I was just like, all right. merch.
I know, you're like no big deal, and it was so dangerous. We were on, actually, y'all just back up there. We're on a motorway, like a highway, and I tried to merge into a motorway the wrong direction.
And luckily, cars were coming out of the highway because if you had gone the way down,
Yeah.
then
I know where to go.
you would have been going 100 kilometers into them coming 100
The wrong
kilometers.
direction. But luckily, I pulled over somehow. It was just so crazy. And you, unfortunately, I felt so. I cried. I thought I was going to kill you.
That's a big famous story, that one.
It was a bad one.
Are there any other little incidents like that in the first year or two you can remember?
I feel like building a case to get your license taken away. I do remember once it was like a Christmas holiday. We were up here when we lived in Melbourne, and we were
Oh,
out
was this
by
when you were
the macadamia castle.
Yeah,
where we drove on
yeah.
the wrong side of the highway for like 5 minutes straight.
It wasn't
before
until
realising.
you saw a car like 2 kilometers
Coming
ahead
towards
of you.
us.
Yeah.
Coming to- you're like,
2
what's this
kilometres, it was like
idiot
5
doing? And then you realise
I know. I didn't know the Arsenal Hotel Road.
You could chalk out to UK to Australian
But
lane
the same road,
change.
the same road. It was like the same
okay.
yeah, so it was just me not seeing anything. Just I should never do. It was at night. Night
Plus that-
driving is a disaster.
yeah, that was about 3 years after we moved. So.
Oh, really? Yeah, like I said, I'm not the greatest historian.
No, that's good. Yeah.
I remember one thing from England time
Yes.
because Dad was part of this. I couldn't have been more than about 5 or 6, and it's a very fleeting memory. But we were in an international airport. Doesn't have to do with driving, so kind of taking a left.
Life, yeah.
We're in an airport. Well, it deals with one of the other parts of your condition. We were in an airport, and I don't really remember how it happened, but Dad kind of had to take us into the ladies' bathroom, and he was like, "Mum had an incident."
A van accident.
Yeah.
A van accident.
Yeah, and
As
I
we
remember,
say.
no. So we went and we found like jeans. I think he bought you a pair of jeans or
Right,
something.
yes, you did.
Because I remember nearly clear as day him holding up the pair of jeans that you were wearing beforehand, and there was
Dirt, elaborate.
yeah,
That's called
there was
dirt.
There was dirt.
Yeah,
yeah.
let's call it dirt.
And I don't think I understood
How bad it
the-
really was?
Well, not how
Were they
bad.
sobbing in the corner? Were they sobbing?
I
You know.
probably.
Probably.
I don't think I saw you until you were like washed and got
Yeah.
fresh clothes on. But I do remember thinking like, why is that happening?
Yeah.
Remember that?
How about your over the years, boys, your friends? What did they? Who were curious about it? What were some reactions from friends? Do you ever remember any sort of a?
I think most
I mean, you guys, that's all you
Yeah.
knew.
Yeah.
That's all you
Yeah.
knew.
If I say MS, I always get like what's that? And I
really?
say
Like
multiple
pine
sclerosis, and they'd be like, oh, what does it do? And I should be like,
Yeah, what do you say?
A
What
lot.
does it do? What does it do?
well, I say it's different for every person,
Well said, yes.
and then I say that you came up with a really good way of explaining it, like a year ago or 2 years ago, which was that it basically aged you up like 20 years.
Yeah.
So
I
you
know.
are like 50.
I'm 54 right now.
54, yeah.
But I'm
Could
not
be
74.
But yeah,
All I
but
can achieve.
yeah.
What can I do
And
each
I
day?
feel like that's a great way of explaining it. Like you can't see as well.
Can't see as well, can't hear as well, can't
Yeah.
think as well, can't walk as well. So I think that dog's very wet.
Yeah. But no one ever knew what MS was.
No, that,
I think they sometimes thought I'm talking about MND.
oh, MND.
Just because it's like a similar,
Similar
like,
words, similar letters.
Sorry, Charlie.
I can try to explain the severity, but there's usually just like, well, that's unfortunate. They're not trying to be dismissive. They just don't like,
Understands.
yeah, it's not something they know.
People don't know about it. If you said like my mum has like dementia or cancer or cerebral palsy, they'll like
They get it.
they'll know. But with MS, like I think very very few people, only people who know people in their lives who have had it, have really understood the severity when you first mention it.
I think it's why the understanding is so key for this whole process of doing this podcast and for doing everything, is to make people understand what goes on, because it's not a nice disease and it's not well understood at all. I don't think so.
And I think all the boys at various times in the last 10, 15 years have been very helpful.
Yes, they have.
They've all been carers, really.
They have all been carers of me. I'm very grateful for that. My boys are very good.
And, you know, it's been hard. You guys really don't know anything else. So
True.
you've only got, your mother that's got MS. And so the relationship you've all had with mum is, and unfortunately, through this disease as
Yeah.
well, I guess, is
With
that a way of
MS,
saying it?
yes.
And you've all done unbelievably good job.
Yes, you have boys.
Also, and I was just wanted to touch on when you guys left England, right? That was a huge time, right? Your dad had just passed, and of the move, I mean, my mum, she told me the story quite a few times. Right, we're going back to Australia right now. Do you guys remember that few weeks before you left?
I remember the morning really well.
Yeah.
We were eating breakfast.
Which morning? Which
The,
morning?
the morning that you said we're moving back to Melbourne, we were eating breakfast. I think it was Popper was still with us.
Who?
Popper.
Oh, you're still
wow.
there.
Yeah, you're still
Okay,
there, yeah.
I thought
yeah.
Papa wasn't there because
No.
he'd gone up and done some
Claire's
weird
dad.
chicanery we didn't understand.
He did do some chicanery,
some
but
strings.
I remember he was there
Carey stuff,
because
yeah.
he'd probably come back from doing Carey stuff because
Maybe he did,
you were
yeah.
sitting at your computer. We were eating breakfast up at the bench bar, and you just started crying, which wasn't
Wasn't it?
unusual
It's
for
typical,
that
at
month.
that point in time.
But we came over and we were like, "What's wrong?" And you were like, "We're moving to Melbourne," and you'd seen an acceptance email
For James to get
Do you remember that,
James.
Charlie?
for Carey.
Not a thing.
The child was 7.
7,
I would eight. I would 8.
8,
Yeah.
10, 11.
He just jumped on the plane. He just didn't know.
Yeah. Honestly,
Sorry.
from Dad's death until like arriving in Papa's place in Templestowe, don't remember much of anything.
Wow.
It's
Pretty.
Do you remember being there at the
a few
house?
months.
crazy.
A few months ago.
Oh, I broke my arm.
Oh, you broke your arm.
First 2 hours you broke your arm.
That was
That was a
insane.
fun night. That was
Yeah.
cool.
I remember Charlie. I was sitting in the big chairs. Charlie came in and he was like, "James broke his arm. James broke his arm. Get mum." I didn't move. I, was like, I don't know. I didn't believe him.
Everyone thought I was faking. Like it took 45 minutes and like a bump
Papa
of
was
bone.
so mad at you.
I got put into timeout corner. And there was like a little bump
Mad
and
at him
bone
for
was
breaking his
starting
arm.
to pump.
Well, look, yeah, it's bad times. It was bad times.
I was climbing a fence and I fell with my arm.
Not a good time.
It was a horrible day. It was just terrible times. I mean, I'm telling you where there was just
It would have been
bad
less
times.
than 3 hours after landing.
Yeah, it was.
What a bad omen.
It was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a great
Poor
day.
James. Then you got the green missile, and you remember Bob Marley, the green missile. Remember James was singing in the corridors?
I swear to this day that I was faking it, but
You
no,
were
but I don't
faking it.
remember trying to leave the hospital like without permission. So
No,
like,
tried to
no,
leave the
no,
hospital.
no,
That's what I've
You
been
were in
told.
bed. You couldn't do that.
Yeah.
I got told I got up from the wheelchair. Maybe that's just fake news. That's not.
I think it's fake news, yeah.
Not
That's
off topic.
anyway, yeah.
Anyway, so look, it was a hard time. It was a hard time for all 4 of you.
Yeah.
And, here we are all these years later. It's been
11 years later.
11.
Is that right?
It'll be coming on 12.
Coming on 12 years nearly. Wow. Goes
So I think it's, and you and I were talking about this the other day.
yeah.
People can't really understand
How hard it was?
how hard it was
No.
for the boys,
Yeah.
right?
You guys had it so tough.
And it's,
Sick mum, dead dad.
well, Mark
It was
passed,
just awful.
but there are 3 big things. So Mark passing and having to move countries, and you having
And maybe-
MS, and then
And then it must get worse.
and then me.
And then go alive. Ta-da!
Sorry to introduce myself then.
Yes, Scotty.
That's what it was.
That's where it really started going bad. Yeah, when I
It
turned
got
up.
better, darling. It got better.
I
You
know.
raised it up.
I mean, by the time you came along, not that like issues were solved, but having moved to Australia was no longer an issue. We'd been there for like 3 or 4 years. So we all had friends. Well,
Yeah,
2 of us
we've
had
worked
friends.
it out. Some people.
And I feel like we were doing a lot better when we came to a much normal childhood. So it wasn't like another calamity had hit us. It was
No. It was an old friend, and James did the right thing. He was being the
Pushback.
he was the man of the
Like
family.
like a movie looking very
If
serious.
only we could have the scene of when I first met you, James. If only we could have put that in the movie. I don't know how it got bumped out, but anyway,
it was classic.
It was
so
classic.
good.
You were standing up for your mum and your brothers
And he's
know,
bad.
and your dad, and I understood that. And it got better. It got better.
did.
It wasn't
I like
easy.
that.
It wasn't. I don't think it was easy for any of us.
No, I think Linda
And Mum and
did.
I had this old friendship, and all of a sudden you go, "Who is this bloke?" And I come in,
Remember
and
James said he's in the corridor. Go, that man's here all the time. That man. He's here all the
well, it's nice. And then and Alex as well. She's here somewhere.
Yeah, I said too.
Alex had to meet 3 new brothers
Yes.
and the woman in my life and you.
The new.
So
girl.
she went through what James went through.
Yes.
Right. So
Was she like standoffish in the beginning?
no,
think she's
No, she
tough.
was. No, at the very beginning, it was cool and fun.
Yeah, I think she thought it was a girlfriend for a while.
But the
When it
realization.
became real, he was like, "Oh,
Well, so it was just equally as hard.
it's just a different arrangement."
Yeah.
Alex was telling me a story that when she was like visiting Kuyong, you two wouldn't really talk to her much, probably because you're a little awkward. And I just came up to her with this little I had this dinosaur book at the time that I
you
was
did.
slightly obsessed with.
You were.
Slightly.
A little
That
bit.
book came with us for 4 houses.
That just shows how young you were at the time.
Yeah, I would have been like 11 or something. And I just started I came up to her and I just started pointing at things in the dinosaur book and telling her about them. She made her feel a lot more
Included.
included and welcome. I think Alex probably won me over. I don't remember, at least in Kuyong, I don't remember seeing or talking to you much. But I remember.
Do you
Alex
remember
very well.
he always used to pick us up from tennis every Tuesday after school?
You guys didn't really want to do it, but you did it.
Get your car.
Tennis.
I love tennis. There was a period of time where I liked it more because I had friends that would join and leave, and there was a period of time where it was real fun, and a period of time where it wasn't. But I always remember getting picked up and talking about it. You didn't talk.
I liked tennis less and less as my vision got worse and worse. And I stopped being able to see the tennis balls.
You really sucked at it, actually.
I got worse because I couldn't see the tennis balls anymore. I think it was year 5 or 6, teacher noticed that I couldn't really see, sent me to an optometrist. Optometrist sends me to an optometrist. Optometrist sends me to an optometrist.
Yes.
And then we find out that it's uveitis and I've got it's an autoimmune disease, got damage to my retina and stuff in my
bad.
eyes. And I remember for a long time you feeling guilty that it was related to your sickness because they're both autoimmune
Yes, they are.
diseases. Yeah, but I think after a while, optometrist told us they're just not related. They're both autoimmune diseases, but it's not hereditary in any way, and it's not related to your eyesight issues,
I can't see either.
which was a relief. I was never even if it was because of your MS, I was not going to be angry at you or
Well,
anything.
yes, true. Well said. I can really help.
And my vision's mostly good now. I've still got retina damage. It's going to take a decade to heal, but most of the
20 minutes ago, you pointed to a photo of a woman on the wall and said, "Who's that guy?" So yeah, we'll fact check that.
Okay, well said.
So, darling, now that we have all 3 men here, because Charlie's just turned 20
They're
now,
all men now, yes. They're not kids, they're men, yes.
20, 21, 23,
Yes.
who reminds you the most of their father?
Visually,
Visually?
Scott.
Let's go. Is that just a
In terms
facial
of
thing, or-
personality-wise,
No. Visually, body.
body-wise, Scott.
Yes.
Personality, one of the 3.
1 and 3?
Wow.
Those are the choices that you have.
That's everybody.
Number two.
No, she answered it properly.
Number one kid, number 2, 3 kid. Number 2.
Oh, one and I think.
So Scott looked like him, but the other 2 are like him.
That makes
I'll
sense.
take
There you go.
I know this. I just wanted you to say.
I mean,
I've
yes.
never heard you
Well,
say
you've only
that
told me.
Charlie's like that.
Yeah, this is the
That's
first.
a very
Let's get
new
ready
thing.
for my
No,
acceptance
it's
speech,
kind of
right?
No. We asked Mum.
It's just that both of you and Jude are quite argumentative and quite opinionated. Good word.
Don't say.
Opinionated, which is a very much thing that Mark was, and now 1 and 3 are like that a lot now.
Well, the genes are what they are.
Genes run very strongly to families.
But I think, imagine if they were still in the UK.
Wow, no, yeah.
So being in Australia for almost 12 years,
Yes,
it's probably changed them a little bit.
you become more Aussie.
yeah.
Oh, you're a little bit
Longer.
Aussie. Scott's the most Aussie. I think you are.
Yeah,
I don't know,
probably.
I think Jude's taken pretty well to
I just have the
Brunswick
slang
climate.
down. I love the slang.
You swear like a.
I mean,
like
you do look like a beetle. So that
He does look like a beetle.
helps.
And but James, you probably don't.
Jude,
Sorry, Jude. 7 years ago, James. 7 years ago.
again.
7 years ago. No, 8 years ago. You were so pom.
Oh yeah, no, it was
accent-wise, yeah.
very attached to the pomminess. It wasn't until we were living in up here that I was really I think time to let it go.
You had
Okay,
you
okay,
had such.
I like
I've
purposely
never
held on to
seen
it.
someone have such a personality change in such a short amount of time.
From where to
From
when?
what to what?
From when we left Carey, when you were 16.
Because I basically held on to the accent on purpose for 5 years.
No, I'm not
Yeah.
just talking about that. I'm talking about
Well, I knew that.
your personality when we left Carey and your personality 6 months into Trinity is the biggest turnaround I've seen
Yeah.
in anyone. And I think
Shout out
But for the
Trinity
better,
Catholic
Scotty, for the
College.
better and worse.
for the
For the
better.
better. Okay, good.
Look at it, you know,
Good
yeah.
to know.
I
No,
give, big credit to Trinity Catholic.
Carey
Great place.
wasn't.
Yes.
No, Carey was
place.
not for me. I
That's
think
good.
I was supposed to be born in the Northern Rivers where no one's doing much.
Well, and
Okay.
unfortunately, because you had brothers and you were there, and that's just the way it happened. But
Yeah.
I mean, we worked it out. I mean, yeah.
We should be.
Well, where James should have been at school. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it doesn't matter. These things
I think it
happen.
happens because it just takes time to figure it out.
Yeah,
Probably
and it's
wouldn't
like,
happen
Really rushed
anyway in the
then.
long run. I think it was just more of like a
Yeah.
calming down. I think I probably just took Dad's death. Probably the worst out of everyone.
Oh, definitely,
It wasn't a
you were the-
competition, but I get gold.
No, you have,
You
you
were-
have gold, silver, and bronze.
Yeah.
Yes, because I was just kind of very closed off about things for going on 8 years about.
Yeah.
And then I think out in Northern Rivers where it was a little less, where they'd gone to boarding school, so I was more just left.
felt more comfortable talking about it amongst those guys.
Not more comfortable
The
talking about. I guess more
kids.
comfortable moving past it. I guess because it's kind of a thing you have to be yeah, it happened. Because I think in part I like the idea of holding on to a British sensibility
Yeah.
as a sort of carrying on the memory. But I guess I just came to the realization that's a bit juvenile and you can't do that. Forever.
You
It's a
wanted
bit
to
strange.
join for about 4 years.
Oh,
the
yeah.
army, the British specifically,
No,
army
yeah.
was your so.
I was
that was
technically in
everything you wanted.
recruitment for a month, but then I just towards the end of
COVID.
yeah, I guess I just wanted to go back, an excuse to go back. But in the long run, I decided it was probably better to do something I don't want to get political on this. It was just I just
No,
decided that
no,
yeah,
no, we're not getting
I just
political.
decided that the military wasn't for me, and I'd rather pursue more tertiary education.
Was your attraction to the military because Dad was a reserve?
Yeah, because it's quite a military family over there. Got
'cause
uncles
his
And
dad's-
Neil.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think it was kind of an attraction to that. I think also I just didn't really have anything I wanted to do with my life, and they're kind of a very. I mean, people without father figures are very much the bread and butter of military service.
Well said. Yes.
So I think it was very attractive in that it's it's kind of built for that. But I think I just got into pursuing an education because first I was doing wildlife biology in the Gold Coast, and then I don't know if you even remember this. You guys convinced me to move because someone got stabbed the next street
Near
down.
where you
from
live.
Oh my God, that's right.
That was-
I was
Scary.
living in Labrador, which I didn't know was
Out in
nicknamed
Queensland.
Stabrador
It
at the
was
time.
so.
It was a
It's
very weird
dangerous.
dude. My neighbor had the postcode tattooed under his eyes, and I just thought
Fantastic.
I just thought he
That
was a
was a
very
red flag.
unique character. I loved
Fantastic
him.
stuff.
And then you guys convinced me to go to RMIT, and I'd already been kind of looking into that to pursue something a bit
Yeah.
more educationally. I don't want to say I didn't like the wildlife biology, but it was very dissection based and work in zoo culture and that. And I did biotech for a little while, and then decided that wasn't really going to make me happy, and then switched over to psychology. I think in part because I'd like the idea of being able to help people who are in a similar position to me when I was a bit younger. Some people that help them open up, be a bit more chill, and decide what they want to do instead of just letting life choose it.
That's good, James.
I didn't know, James. That's great.
Scott, seeing we're on this subject,
Yeah.
why do you think you're in commerce?
I think I always liked the idea that Dad was a businessman. I didn't know what his business did. I still barely knew what it
I
does.
still don't.
He explained it to me several times, but he explained it to me when
Do either of you guys know yet?
the way I understand it was
Software management.
technological consulting. That was how he.
Do you help?
That's one of those
Well,
things.
tell them.
It was more IT consulting, really.
IT consulting, but
Because he
Yeah,
had computer
just-
science degrees, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
For a while, I wanted to do computer science. Science.
He's good at
But
it, yes.
when we went to, I was actually really, really gun ho on doing computer science because he had done it. It was a very hot thing to study. Everyone wanted to study it. It was very interesting to our generation. But when we went to Trinity, they had a class that did that, and I mistakenly enrolled in a different class, so I lost
do
6
that.
months of that. And then when we went to GGS, they didn't have any classes that did that. So I just got into economics because it was the next best thing, and I was good at economics and accounting. I liked numbers. I was considering doing law for a while until I did law, and I realized it's boring. And so, yeah, I just kind of fell into numbers and math, but not the really complicated numbers. And
you
math
think
that Charlie does.
your path now will be, after you finish, will be what do you think?
If when.
Accounting.
Did I say if?
You said if.
Sorry.
I
I didn't mean that.
I don't have any like specific.
Oh, you said you wanted to do teaching though.
Oh yeah, my end goal, my ultimate end goal is to graduate, work a corporate job for a while, and teach at a good school because all the good schools prefer people who have like actually worked
Like
in the
GGS.
industry. Yeah, like GGS.
GGS is school right there.
Back down at Geelong.
Yeah, well, I mean, the way that this country is going, if I want to afford a private school education, I'll probably have to teach at said private school.
Work there,
to
yeah.
get massive reduction of
Fees.
fees.
Yeah.
But yeah, just basically anything that'll take me.
You don't really know. I mean, you might get a job. You might enjoy that job in corporate Melbourne.
Yeah,
And it might change.
yeah. Nothing is set in stone.
Yeah, that's right.
Just don't move to Sydney.
And Charlie, you're doing physics. Where do we think maybe in 5 years Charlie could be working?
I'm curious.
I don't know. I think
You're not supposed to know yet. That's fine.
I think I'm like just the idea of finishing with like physics, mathematical physics sounds like a good pathway. I know you've recently been gearing towards actuarial studies or something in finance and investment and that sort of stuff. And I mean, I might want to do that because I know it pays well, but like, it's not something I want to
It's for
study.
you, not for me.
Yeah.
I'm not doing any other study. I'm done.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't mind working a job like that, but I don't think I want to study for it. Like, I don't want to get like a
We need to
actuarial. But if you want to do actuarial,
Actuarial, yeah. But if you just want to be a quant,
yeah, and I think
Are you looking
I don't
at
mind
quants?
doing, some quantitative analysis. I don't mind doing some like quant work if I can get it, and then going into like to get my like masters in physics. I think my end goal is PhD, and I'd love to do like teaching, be like a professor, doing research. That would be like ideal for me. Because as a lot of you said, I'm sort of
Born student.
born student,
Yes.
likely to stay in university in some form for a long time, or just in education
Hair suits it too.
for a long time. And yeah, I think I've picked up an influence from the other side of the family because dad's side is, military, software, business.
entrepreneurial,
Yeah. Whereas your side's a lot more like academia, science. Your dad's very, principal at a school, very like academics focused.
yeah.
And I did turn to him because I was sort of STEM minded. And he was always like, if you stick with chemistry and physics, you can go on to anything from there.
Okay.
And physics appealed to me more as more like math sided. And so I'm happy to stick with that. I very well might end up going like pure math or something like that. Because it's what I really, really enjoy. But like as for work after that,
Who knows?
Who knows? Well, we don't have to push
one
any
knows.
further than that. Well, Charlie, even a few years ago, Mum said, "Charlie, I want you to
You're
get through
clever.
school.
Fix me."
Fix Mum."
Yeah.
Has it ever gone through your mind? Maybe I can.
it went through my mind a lot in senior school.
To be
About like
medicine.
yeah, because it's an annoying thing where like when you're going into like IB and like when you're like 16, the like classes you choose kind of decides what degrees you can do,
when you're
and so you've
16.
got to make that like future decision
When you're 16.
When you're 16.
So, yeah, it's quite fair.
And it came down to choosing like physics to go into physics or biology to go into medicine, both with chemistry. And physics was just what I was more like interested in and what I was much better at the time. But like nowadays it's very tempting. Every now and then I think about just doing like finishing bachelor's of science and then just doing like medicine postgrad.
The good doctor.
Why not?
I don't. I mean,
This is awesome. Why?
I think it's like, I think you assume that it's in my wheelhouse. I think you assume that it's in my wheelhouse because it's STEM related, but like it is pretty different to the things that I'm good at. But it also is just like such stable work.
Yes.
It seems like a great job as well. It's a lot of studying. Had some like doctors come in for like a careers day or something, and they were like 10 years out of senior school, and they'd gotten their degrees, but they were still studying for certifications and like qualifications that they had to be doing to like specialize further. So they were like, I don't know, they would have been like 28 or something and still doing like flashcards and like revision and like studying textbooks and stuff. I don't know, doing that while like working a full-time job seems like a lot. But and as I said, it's not like what I'm good at necessarily. It's just would be a good job.
It's adjacent to something that you are good at.
Yeah, it's adjacent to something I'm good at, and it's good work. So it is tempting.
Admirable
I
work
don't
too.
think I would be fulfilled in it particularly much.
If I can just steal for a bit, I thought about it as well when I was doing biotech, but the thing that I noticed is that like there's just not any, well, there's not any relative to like breast cancer and a lot of other like more well-known incidences. There's not a lot of research behind it, unfortunately, at the moment.
You mean
it's
MS?
yeah, like on a
Okay.
relative scale, it just doesn't
Okay.
get the funding.
That's
So I think
the issue.
unfortunately
That's
that's
the
something
issue.
that holds it back as well. No matter
Yeah.
how many
Funding.
people are working on it, if they can't get the funding to be able to do said
Yeah.
studies.
And there's never enough. MS Australia's got a lot of good drugs coming out in the next couple of
Yes.
years, so
Yes.
there's a bit of excitement there.
Yeah, it's good. It's positive. I like that too.
Yeah, are they coming out in Australia because they have been out in America for
In
a
the
while?
UK, for sure.
Yeah.
And what's that one doing? Is it platypus?
Platypus and octopus.
They just make
Yes.
these names up as they go.
Octopus and platypus. So platypus is here, octopus is there.
Would you guys, since you have worked with MS Australia and as ambassadors to other countries, how far behind is Australia to other countries dealing with it?
Going?
I think we're kind of pretty much equal in terms of what's available. I don't know that our research is anything.
Because I remember
More
you
advanced.
were almost on a drug
yeah.
testing, and you got kicked off because it was American.
American
And
people got-
But that failed.
Ironically,
Oh, that one failed?
Yeah.
actually someone died too. So
Oh,
yeah, but that's bad.
Yeah,
That's bad.
failed.
But the point is that being a test, being a
Test case.
test case, we call it like
You can call yourself that.
like a trial. You know, you take your life in your hands with there. But I think it's admirable though.
So what's actually available is equal in every countries, but the testing and the trials are happening mostly
Well,
UK,
I
America.
think a lot are in Europe too now. There's one in Europe. The thing about pregnancy, doing a drug that's going to induce the idea of being pregnant, which makes people MS just stops. So I've always said that pregnancy is like a miracle thing because your MS just goes on holiday, it stops. So to me, it's an obvious thing to research, have a drug that induces that arrangement in your body, so your body thinks you're pregnant, therefore no attacks. It's a no-brainer.
Wouldn't being having your body think that you're pregnant for the rest of your life also kind of its own?
I'm sure there's issue, yes.
I'm sure if you wait,
I know
it's
that-
probably.
Yeah, that's a
complicated.
really good
Chance
point.
there
Yeah.
I did think about being
When
pregnant.
you were pregnant with us three, did you notice that MS
Oh,
received?
totally.
Really?
100%.
That's interesting.
100%.
I've never heard you mention that.
And you stopped at 3 kids.
Ah, I know.
Yeah,
because
you
I
could've
only
just
had
kept
3.
adding more.
I know. I thought about having like 10 kids, but and I gave it to you, and I got really, really, really sick.
Yeah, the more you have,
You
actually.
screwed the pooch, actually.
No, I think because I got pregnant each time from James just got to Charlie, there was no gap.
Yeah.
So Charlie arrived, and then the gap after you, but a year and a half later, you were a year old. Pow! I was in hospital.
Is that
really sick,
possibly
really, really sick.
because Charlie was...
What?
I'm going to do it, Charlie.
No, I was just going to say that
going.
there are some children that are planned,
Oh, okay.
and then there are ones
Oh,
that
no. All right.
I should mean
All
is that
right.
one is right after the other.
It's true. It's true.
Is
He's
Charlie not
natural.
IVF? I thought it
I
was.
was-
No, he's an
yeah.
accident.
He's an accident.
I was suspecting
Happy
cancer.
Hey, oh, God.
Well,
I was cancer for a little bit.
I did.
and then
I
you-
told him cancer. I
still
told
think
him I had
Yeah, I
cancer.
was going to say, now we know it
It was
is.
just this horrible time. Again, horrible time.
I remember we used to have nicknames. We came up
Yeah,
with it
we
on some
did.
family trip. I was Family Pack because you used to have a
M&Ms.
family pack of M&Ms.
I
I don't know what you
I think
were.
it was.
steak.
I thought it was
Pancakes.
pancakes. Yeah, okay, I remember that.
And you were Ninja because
Just
you
came
were a
over.
surprise.
Ninja.
Yeah. Yeah,
Ninja
Yeah.
surprise. You
Ninja
want
surprise.
the pancake?
Give me my full
Dimmings.
title.
Thank you,
Yeah,
my
Ninja
bad.
surprise.
I didn't.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to realize that meant what it meant.
You just like the word. I can't get it.
No, I heard that story like young, and I didn't like. I think I was supposed to feel bad, and I didn't. I was like, okay.
It's something to feel bad about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. You insinuated that I should feel bad about
No, I
it.
was just thinking that with the
Wow,
Mum
it's
said,
really
because
airing
Mum said that we were back to back to back, and I was thinking maybe that's because one of us was unplanned.
Oh, okay.
Maybe
That's it.
if it would have been a little bit more of a break.
Bring a
Not
break.
your fault.
Oh, I see your point. No, it's all good. It all worked out. It's all good, man. It's all worked out well. This is good.
You can feel bad if you
like
want to.
therapy.
Yeah, I'll try my best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll try my best.
I might just throw this in now to change things up a little
Please
bit.
do.
So I want to ask all three of you honestly, what did you think of the film?
Who wants to go first?
Honest.
First,
Be frank.
I knew you guys were making a movie, and it took a long time, and it was a lot of effort, and I was still surprised, I guess, by like the professionalism. You know, like it was in the theaters, and it was on Netflix, and there was nothing like in the movie that felt like a
Student film.
student film family project sort of thing.
Like the video.
Yeah.
Home video stuff. No.
There's a bit of press, and it was real.
You're impressed by it.
Yeah, definitely.
It's got it.
I agree. I mean, we were told so much about the film over time that I basically felt like I'd watched it. So when I actually watched it, I felt very. I guess I was like ticking a checkbox in my mind. Like, oh, I heard them talk about that scene. Like, I knew that was going to happen. Like, oh, this thing that they'd mentioned is no longer in the film. So that's kind of what it was the first time of just seeing, like, I was thinking, here's everything that they've talked about and how much of it is actually going to, like, happen. And I liked it. I thought every choice, everything that got in was good. Everything that was left out, well, not everything that was left out was bad. I liked the... I played a lot more prominent role in the end.
Oh, please.
The original. That was
How do you think
taken
you
out.
guys were portrayed? Yeah.
Mine,
I'm
okay.
pretty accurate,
Just
yeah.
I'll let the people know this if they're paying attention. My name is said twice in the whole movie. James is said about 150 times,
Probably because he's the oldest.
maybe, and Charlie is up there. About,
a good few times.
yours like 15.
Just like
Oh, God, you actually counted. My God.
I noticed that my name was hour and a half to my first mention.
James?
James.
James?
Yeah.
About the film, I mean, this might come off as mean. I think the only thing I could say is I think it could have been sadder. I feel like there should have been a couple scenes for Mum when she was like single mothering. That's the only thing I can really
Good
say.
point. That's a good point,
Is
yeah.
I feel like that would have been.
That'd be-
Interesting.
that'd be
Yeah,
really
I just feel
hard.
like it's like obviously for what the film actually is, it would have been a pretty bad rom-com like horse kind of movie if there was like a lot of crying. There was like it was at the right level.
We kind of missed the
That's
crying.
true.
But
Yeah,
like I
true.
no, I feel
accurate.
yeah, I feel like I expected it to be like really. I don't know how to describe it without because I like the film. I don't want to come off as if like
No. I want you to honestly say what you feel.
yeah. I just feel like it could have been more sadder.
Okay.
I feel like you could, but I think also that that's like that's a really hard thing to do when they're like you know the people, especially because it's your first film. I feel like it'd be very difficult to turn to a professional actor and be like not ugly crying. enough.
No. I mean, but no. Thank you. I mean, I'm actually going to read out something to you guys.
Oh no.
From a critic, no? Because we're made a feature film and we got slammed, and people
You're both.
we were just astonished at how beautiful the film was, right? And you take all that on the chin.
Yeah.
I've read.
I'm not going to go through all these. I just
Yeah.
a couple. Fantastic storyline, wonderful Aussie gem, beautiful story. Truly beautiful, one of the most beautiful movies I've seen. And this is as bad, so everyone be prepared. And this is really honest, right? Just be prepared. Mum and I know about this. 2 out of 10. Money can't buy taste. Take My Hand is supposedly one man's ode, writer-director Drive Topless, to his MS-stricken wife, Claire Jens. But it also spends an inordinate and distasteful amount of time demonising Jens' late husband, who was portrayed in the movie as a neglectful and distant husband and father consumed by his work and social engagements. The late Mark Pennycook died of a heart attack at 48, while his movie counterpart dies in a car accident following a heated argument with his wife. It is incongruous how Raptopoulos altered the cause of death, but not the bad husband characterization, even if it were true. It seems extremely disrespectful to Pennycook, and I wonder what his family has to say about it.
Wow.
Now, so
Yeah,
that's, and Mum and I'm not even going to say what we think, right?
As the family, I think Jude and I did actually talk about this when we first watched the film. I remember we mentioned this. The death scene didn't make either of us sad because it was so different to what actually happened.
Okay.
And that made it a lot easier for us to watch because it didn't, up until that moment, it felt like we were obviously watching like our parents. But when that happened, I felt like I was watching
A movie.
Because it was so like, it was so
It was
dramatic.
probably dramatic, a little bit overly dramatic, but
I mean,
it's very, very hard to encapsulate your dad's entire life because it's not about the movie's not about your dad. The movie's not about me. It's about this person here. Okay, so that was just a part of it. I mean, I tried to do, making the film was show what a successful man this person was.
Yeah.
Right, and how he'd risen up and he was enjoying his money because he was. He had 3 kids. He had the beautiful wife. He had houses. He had everything. And then I got all that from Mum. She told me all this, and so this is what happened in that time. I mean, showing a couple of scenes of them fighting is for drama.
Yeah.
Right, that mum and dad were like any other couple. Everyone fights.
Yeah.
Right. So, and we weren't making him look like a bad human being. He was a busy guy, and he was stressed, and
He worked a lot.
and at times when he seems busy, or he's having a couple of drinks, or he doesn't seem like he's caring enough about your condition. Well, I do that.
Yeah. Sorry, that was
No, but everyone does that. Everyone does that. And I'm going to stand here and say on this podcast, at times I don't pay enough attention, but that's what happens.
Why?
So in the film, and for anyone who listening to this, this is not a big defense of the film, but this is just what happened. We just tried to do the best to make it a drama, right? And it was a cinema drama, and I think we did a pretty good job. But yeah, you could look at it and say he was demonised, but some people write those articles because they're bitter about their own lives. I'm sorry. I've heard some reports of people that we know very close to us have said the same thing. Mark wasn't portrayed that well. Okay, I'm sorry that's what you think. Please feel welcome to ring me and talk to me about it. We were the whole time we made this, we were only worried about you guys.
You 3.
Now,
Yeah.
and how about you, Charlie?
I don't dislike the portrayal, and I think there is something important in the fact that the name of the movie is not Mark. It's based on a true story. It's not like
Thank you. It's not like documentary at all. 0.
I think the review does point out something interesting about changing the death, and I don't know how I would have felt were it the same. But there is something that was sad about his heart attack because it wasn't like, I don't know, it wasn't reckless driving. It wasn't like anything in your control really. And it was something that runs in the family. So like, I can understand the criticism there, but I don't think like the whole portrayal is particularly negative. And I think for like our sake, having it be different was nice for the movie viewing.
it was definitely helpful.
Also, if he just had a heart attack at like the point it would have been at maximum consequence to the film, it would have seemed very Deus Ex Machina, admittedly. Like you can't just have someone like have an argument, turn around, do it.
Hard, I know.
And I don't think the only person that knew how hard the situation was to be that busy, have 3 boys and have you was Mark. And, he was going through a fair bit himself. And, someone can write something like that, I suppose. I can't do anything. I'm just saying it's a hard thing to do what I was doing.
Yes.
But it was 10 times harder being who he was
Yeah.
at that time.
That's right. It was. Yeah.
So, but there was some truth to not wanting to come back to us, not wanting to come to Australia.
You didn't want to come here. Didn't want to live in Australia.
You wanted to come here, he didn't. He said he was a big fish.
I kept saying, let's go to Australia, please, please. I
He was a
begged.
big fish in a big pond.
Yeah.
I get it.
And
I get it.
I just wanted to come back here. And the one boys go to school here. I've done that so bad.
Yeah.
It never happened.
Look, I
really
still
sad.
think, boys, the best decision was made for you to come here. I just
Yeah.
think that I know you'll get to your 30s and
Happy, do you agree,
you,
boys?
you don't
I
know.
don't plan on moving back.
We
very happy to be living.
we kind of sucked back
He
then.
did not foresee Brexit.
Why do you suck, sweetie? Why do you
We
suck?
were spoiled,
Spoiled
and the
boys.
school that we were at was full of spoiled kids, and
Yeah.
it also was a bad school. Just
But
like
now it's
Charlie
good.
was 2 years below me and was better at math than half the kids in my grade.
No, it's not good.
That was
Some of the kids-
That school's
yeah.
now become better, apparently. I'm told.
I heard that. It's a good school now.
Yeah.
No, I think moving to Australia was a good choice.
thing.
I like. I can't say that I like being here as a point because I don't know what life would have been like if we had stayed.
No, you
But
don't know.
The way it was trending, we were going. I think that we are better people for having come here.
Good answer. I like that thought.
I
That's
agree.
nice.
I agree.
Well,
I do wonder what my life would have looked like if we stayed in London, in particular, in the city. But I am like, I do think I preferred living Melbourne than to like Portsmouth and Chichester and that.
Just one question I have for all three of you. At being out of home, I mean, now you've been out of home for a few years, James. Scott, you've been out for 3. Charlie, you've been out for 1 and a bit.
Yeah, how you been at boarding school, babe?
Not living with us.
Okay.
Living, well, university was different. John Grammar, then they came as, they were at boarding school to start with.
Yeah.
How has it been for you yourselves growing, living out of home, and how hard's it been the last 2-3 years? For starting with you, James, because it's been 5 now.
Yeah, I mean, like, I've had a pretty. I can't lie, I've enjoyed it quite a bit. But it's definitely been like a lot of a learning experience.
Has it been good for you?
Oh yeah, I definitely think I benefited greatly, especially in that like first year. I think there was a lot of like, I don't know. I found it nice being able to take on that responsibility for myself more and like kind of rep what I wanted to do with things and like have it. If it fucks up, it's directly on me. There's no like can't send a letter home to mum kind of vibes. But then like moving to Melbourne was a very strange one because I moved to Melbourne at like kind of the height of the COVID situation. So there's a lot of
20.
Yeah, 2021.
Yeah.
21. Yeah,
I don't want to say
2020.
with confidence. I don't remember. And that was a very strange one. I think because I was making more like money during COVID than after, which is a lot of people in my age group have a similar experience because like the hospitality and the retail sections were very much like a lot of people had left. There was a lot less people coming in on visas and stuff. So it was a weird time to be learning adulthood stuff. But I really liked it, honestly. It's fitted me well. So I'm like, I positively think I took that on.
To Scotty?
I handled it terribly in the beginning.
Oh, same. I don't want to pretend I was good at this.
No, like the first 6 months of uni, especially, was coming especially from a boarding school. Like you have someone that comes and wakes you up. You have someone that makes sure you go to class and makes sure you study. You have 5 teachers that you see.
That's
every
the
single
bad
day.
part about it.
Yeah, the great part about it was that it helped me do very well in school, and I'm very happy with how I did. But the problem is, as soon as I was
It's unrealistic silver spooning.
well, I rebounded in the worst possible way. I ate like crap. I would just go to Woolies or the closest service station and I just bought lollies. I don't think I cooked for like the first 2 months. I gained like 10 kilograms. I didn't go to my classes very often. I didn't see many friends. I just kind of stayed at my apartment because I had no one like pushing me out to do
Oh, it
things.
sounds awful. God.
It was awful, but it had to happen, and it was entirely me.
I
And
think
then
everyone has that first
Yeah.
experience.
And then I moved out of that place and moved in with someone else, and it got better. I started going out more, working, going to uni more.
I think you guys have done a phenomenal job, right? And Charlie too. But, well, Charlie's only been out a year and Scott's looking after him.
Okay.
Contrary to those two, I actually started amazingly.
You've actually gotten worse over time.
Really?
I had a bit of a trial by fire staying on your couch for like 3 months.
Yeah, because I was in a Brunswick share house and all that comes with
It's a
that.
go from Bridgeland to share.
Getting lollies and stuff because the place that I was working fired me pretty quickly.
Oh yeah.
I didn't pay you at all, actually.
They actually never paid me.
Jason.
You don't pay you?
They still owe me like $500.
And you owe them a laptop. So
Yeah,
So
whatever.
it's even.
It's even. But like, yeah, I think it was like a share. It was like 3 bedrooms, 5 people, 4 cats. It was like very like thrown in the deep end, and I actually really enjoyed it. I think I learned a lot of things very quickly. Having to like cook all my food, and
I think you learned a bit of that at Timbertop. Didn't you?
a little bit. I learned more at Geelong because I like.
You went to Timbertop and you started coming around and cooking everything.
True. You do a lot of cooking at Timbertop. Oh yeah, it's for year 9 at Geelong Grammar, you go and you do like they have a separate campus just for year 9s, and it's in like it's near like Mansfield and Mount Buller, in the like alpine area, and you do a lot of running and hiking.
It's awesome.
And a lot of like camping and cooking for yourself on little called tranchias, sort of like gas stoves, or like spirit stoves. And I definitely I really liked cooking at Timbertop.
Okay.
The like obviously you're on hike, so everything tastes good.
Starving, yeah.
Yeah, you like have the same like, I don't know, protein bar on hike, and you have it when you're like actually back at home, and it's awful. It's so much worse. So I think I got an inflated idea of my cooking, but it just like, I don't know, it does prepare you a little bit. I think Geelong as well, I tried to be a lot more independent with cooking for myself and cleaning for myself. Just because I honestly didn't like the boarding school system all that much, having someone waking you up and having people, like having something to go to every like, 30 minutes, hour. So I was really excited to have that independence. And moving in with Jude and then moving from there into living with Scott, I think helped a lot.
very, very different vibes.
Yeah,
Very different
situation.
vibes.
I think so.
I think university, I maybe also didn't do too great in the first semester.
I think it's shared across all 3 of us.
No, I've actually had a pretty good luck with it.
Okay, no.
Because I was doing my first in COVID, so I was like, just didn't
yeah.
have anywhere else to be. So it was like
Yeah,
very
different,
easy
very
to-
different.
Very easy to just sit there and do it all. Like,
But I'm actually pretty proud of the like home stuff, cooking and cleaning and laundry.
Well, we're and I think and Mum and I are very proud of all 3 of you.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
it's a good Christmas dinner now.
Growing up with you as like single mother, it was like you were very busy, and there was certain like, I don't know, life skills and home skills that I think I missed out on a little bit because you were so like stressed and just like focusing on taking care of things.
And not well too.
And not well, yeah.
It was hard.
And that's
So
hard for anyone else to understand that.
Yeah.
So people looking in and making comments about how the boys have been brought up really pisses me off.
Yeah, I agree. You're right.
And how they think we should run things. It's none of their fucking business.
Thank you, darling. You're right.
And the decisions that you and I have made, I think have been the right ones.
Yes, I
and
agree.
it's no one else's business how these 3 are brought up.
They've been a hard gig. It's been a hard time.
Yeah, and including family.
I think only family.
Right? It's
actually,
our
yeah.
decision.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, and we've done that, and you guys have
It's been hard.
been respectful, and it's been hard. It's been really hard for you guys, and you don't get enough kudos for that.
Yeah, it's been a hard
Take some
gig.
kudos.
Yeah. I don't think it's like a coincidence that you've had so much issue with driving and none of us have a license.
Yeah, that's probably
It's funny, all 3 boys, no one drives.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
no one
I
laughs,
just-
they can drive, they don't. So no drive. No license is nothing.
Charlie's
I'm a rubbish driver,
right on
and
the
I scared
money.
them.
Yeah.
Driving, and again, I love you, Mum.
Thank
Has
you,
to put you
darling.
on blast. Driving was terrifying.
Oh, I get scared in Ubers.
I'm sorry.
Ask me for
Because
help.
one of us, as Jude said, one of us was always in the front seat
Always.
giving directions, and if we didn't know where we were going,
I'd
the
cry.
minute like the directions were like the minute you were supposed to take a left and you took a right, it was tears.
We always did me
I
side,
cried.
your side, because like... 'cause
You did
we-
that because you didn't know
I
rights and
still don't
lefts.
know my life.
You don't know rights and lefts. Everyone else at this table knows rights and lefts. But yeah, no, I think I was in the front seat the
lot.
most. And so
You were.
I got
You calmed me
the
down.
worst, like,
You got the
fear
worst,
of driving.
the worst.
I'm terrified of driving.
And I think as well,
Oh, it's
taking
my
into
fault.
consideration, if you're driving in like Melbourne and you can't quite see right already,
That's
that's
a
a
good point,
very
yeah.
scary
Dangerous.
situation.
I
It's
didn't
not
know.
like
I didn't know that was betting. Yeah, story,
Okay,
story.
so I just like to quickly ask, because we're
Yeah.
kind of about to wrap it up.
Yeah.
What do you like about each other? One thing each. You
Oh,
three
wow.
boys.
oh no,
That's
someone
tough.
else.
Wow.
Go, Charlie,
This is
first.
so hard.
Scott.
Scott is endlessly selfless, and just a very like compassionate and caring person. Sometimes to his own detriment. Jude is. It feels weird to say. Jude is just so like interesting and passionate about things, and just like carries that into conversation. Sometimes to our conflict. We do have a lot of arguments about things that don't matter. We did fight in the car ride over. But it's just like, I don't know, it's fun to be around you, especially you and your friends.
Yeah.
It's just a...
And then you both have to be cut off. Right, so Jude?
Oh, me? Well, I would say first with Scott. I don't know, it's hard to... It might come off as bad, so we might need to do a second take on this. I didn't know we were doing this.
Yeah, this is difficult.
But you're just such like a well put together person. I mean, like me and Charlie, like kind of wear our quirks on our sleeves, and like in part it's just because of. I thought it was because we were both IVF, but apparently that's not in the suit. I don't know. Yeah, you're just a very emotionally intelligent, just like
I think that's just because
just a chill guy. Yeah.
No, I was going to talk about. That's just because of you and your mates. Like next to you guys, I look like just such a.
But you're still like.
I do call you like almost every time I go outside. I need to like make some inane decision. I'm like, I'll just call Scott. I'll just call Scott.
Oh, you call me like the bus is 5 minutes late. Do I walk 30 minutes or do I wait another 5 minutes? You call me so often with the
Well,
most.
it's just I get in the thing and it's like the smallest decisions are the hardest ones.
Okay,
Yeah,
Charlie next.
I just think your mind's very interesting. I think you're a very fascinating person. Sometimes you do let it work against yourself, but I think you've got a lot going on. You just need to get out and do it sometimes.
Scott.
All right, do me.
I'll start with Charlie because I have something on the tip of my mind. I don't think there is a person in the world that I am more like linked with than Charlie. I will say something to a person and they will have no bloody idea what I'm talking about, and I will say the exact same thing to Charlie and he will get it every single time. I feel like we are, apart from a few big exceptions, I feel like we are incredibly similar people, especially when it comes to humor. And I do think you're one of the funniest people I know.
I think it helps that I'm just reached 20 years old, and I think I've lived with you for 18 years. I think we've very rarely been apart.
And with Jude,
Amazing teeth.
no hair. Very similar to what Chloe said. Not Chloe, sorry, Charlie. I think that you are never in any situation afraid of being yourself. Like you say that I'm a put together person, and that's because sometimes I will like shield my true personality to make a conversation or a setting or an event easier. And I'll just talk about like, oh, the weather's really nice and blah. And you just come out and just be like, and then I was shebangling and I had and then what do? And I just, it's so easy to be in a conversation with you with other people because I know that you're just going to take control, make everyone question everything because you're so, you never tone it down for anyone.
Just go to
Sometimes I really wish that you would just like cool it a little bit, but I never have to worry about like carrying a conversation when you're there because you will always
Talk.
not talk. You'll always impress.
I was going to say about Jude, and it comes back to that, is that like never worrying about a conversation, but also never worrying if you are being honest or truthful, because you will always say exactly what you are thinking and feeling. I'm never like, is this is this their actual thoughts? Is this like, is this really what they're feeling? It is always exactly.
Yeah, sometimes I'll be talking to Charlie about things and I'll be like, this is something that you need to work on. And or like, I'll be like, oh yeah, there's a problem with something Charlie's doing, but I don't really want to mention it. And Jude would come into the situation and just be, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you doing something so stupid and wrong?
Okay.
I think I'm just less worn down. I was talking about him in the car about this. He was like, Scott would not get me on this. And I was like, that's because Scott's lost all these fights. He's not gonna fight you.
Like I said, I don't go full in, but you see a problem and you will let everyone know that there is a problem.
Just go to with the sword.
Yeah.
We might wrap it up there, boys. I think you've done well today. Thank you for joining us on 1,000 Little MS Things.
Yeah.
And we'll see you all next time. Bye. Bye for today.
Thank you.